In this video, I'll be giving you the ultimate success formula to nail your coming exams. I'll be giving you brutal, practical advice that you can start applying today in order to guarantee yourself those distinctions. I'm going to be sharing with you tools and a system that you can start applying today to move from being average to being a top performing student. So first things first, why should you listen to me, right? So some people refer to me as an academic coach. Some people say I'm a self-improvement content creator because I've managed to build an audience of 36,000 plus followers online based on my academic coaching and productivity content, right? But other than that, I'm a UCT accounting graduate with distinctions, and I'm a UCT accounting postgrad student, and I've been a top achiever since high school all the way through university. So I understand the top achiever mindset, and I have 4+ years of tutoring slash teaching at the high school level and university level. So I think I understand the psychology of students, right? And I've also read 100+ self-help and productivity books. So exam season is fast approaching, and what I've realized is most top achievers are naturally hard workers. However, with myself, I've always felt like throughout the year I input average amount of effort, and then exam season I have to skyrocket my effort level, 100 times my effort level, in order to make sure that I nail those exams, right? And I feel like this is how most students feel, right? That throughout the year they've been putting average amount of effort, and then exam season they have to 100 times their effort in order to ensure that they nail those exams. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a system that you can use in order to 100 times your effort to ensure that you nail those exams. But going forward, I always encourage people to make sure that even throughout the year, you maintain the same level of high effort in order to ensure that exam season you don't need 200 times your effort level. And some of the tools that I'm going to be sharing in this video are going to help you to do exactly that. You can apply them throughout the year in order to make sure that you're always on top of your game. So the 4 things I hope you take away from this video, which are the secrets to nailing your exams. Number 1 is how you effectively plan for your coming exams. Number 2, how you do the work the right way. Number 3, how you beat procrastination. And lastly, I'm going to be sharing the ultimate success formula, which you don't want to miss. So how do you effectively start planning for your coming exams? Before you even set up an exam study timetable or you start doing question papers, you need to ask yourself one key question. Where am I sitting, right? So where am I sitting with each of the courses that I'm doing or subjects? Where am I sitting with each of the topics or modules that I'm doing, right? And the system that I use is this one, whereby I'll go for each of the courses that I'm doing, I'll go list all the topics or all the modules that I did in each of the courses or subjects. Then after that, I rank them based on how confident I am in each of those topics. So there are 4 rankings. Number 1 is not confident, which is red. And then number 2 is somewhat confident, which is brownish. And then there's confident, which is light blue, and very confident, which is dark blue, right? So I rank each of the topics based on how confident I am with that topic. So this gives me a sense of where I need to go put in more work, right? So if there's one course whereby there's a lot of rates, meaning that not confident in a lot of topics, I know that I need to allocate more of my time to that subject or that course. So it's very important to ask yourself, where am I sitting, in order to ensure that you uh, allocating your time well going into the exam season. And what's nice is in the link on my bio, I link the system so you can update the system on your own Google Sheets and use the same system. Or if you don't like using computers, what you can do is you can draw up this system in your own book or your own piece of paper and then use that system. Now that you know where you are sitting and where you need to put in the most work, you need to go and set up your own exam prep study timetable. And what I found with setting up a timetable is most of the times when you think of your exams as, oh, I'm writing in 2 months or I'm writing in a month or in 3 weeks, you always feel like you have more time because you say in 3 weeks, and then 3 weeks seems like it's far until you assess where you are sitting and then you put it in a calendar saying, I'm going to be doing this on this day. And then that's when you get to realize that 3 weeks is not a lot of time based on the amount of work that you need to do. Then you don't have enough time. That's why you need to start right ahead and start early to prepare, right? So what you do is you go and highlight your days whereby you're writing your exams. So for me, it's a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the ones in red, right? And after that, I go allocate each of the days for um, preparation or doing question papers or whatever it is, right? So the day before the exam is always the paper that I'm writing tomorrow. So I'll just be reviewing my notes. But going backwards, I'll make sure that I allocate for each of the courses based on which one I need to put in more work, right? Until the day in which I did the study timetable. So I did my study timetable on the first, which was the Tuesday. Therefore, I started studying on the 2nd of October, right? And this will help you visualize how much time you have left and also give you a plan of what you're supposed to be doing in each of the days. Now that we've spoken about how you can effectively plan for the exam season, how do you start doing the work? So on this Wednesday over here, what do you start doing? So now let's move on to doing the work. How do you make sure that you do the work right? So what I usually do is I always advise people to start doing past question papers as early as possible because you get a sense of where you are sitting and also at the same time you get to get comfortable answering exam questions under exam conditions, right? But okay, cool. Let's say now you've set up your study timetable and be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this on this date. So what I advise you to do is start with covering all those topics that you ranked as not confident. Most of the times when I rank a topic not confident is because I didn't attend any of the lectures, I didn't attend any tasks, I didn't do any questions on that topic. So what I do, I make sure I go and update it first, right? I go watch the lecture recording for that topic or read the notes for that topic, do a couple of questions so that I'm at least somewhat comfortable with that topic. And then after that, I move it from not confident to somewhat confident. You cannot go and read everything else, read all your notes, because if you do that, then you might be reading things that you already know and then you're wasting precious time. So, first thing first, make sure you start with past question papers, and what they do is they give you a sense of where you're sitting. So after doing a past question paper, make sure that you mark it question by question and then put a total for each of the questions. And ask yourself in each of the questions, what topic were they testing? And after you go to your system whereby you listed all your topics per course or subject and how confident you are in them, and then you update that ranking. So if you got 90% for a certain question that tests the specific topic, you go and update it as very confident. If you got like 70%, you can update it to confident, right? But if you got low marks such as 16, 17, you can go and update it as somewhat confident. I know the basics, but I couldn't pass this topic. And then now after doing that, you can strategically review your notes. You know that okay, cool, for this topic I'm kinda bad or I'm kinda struggling. So let me go review my notes, read my notes for that topic, and then after reading my notes for that topic, I can easily do the questions, some questions on that topic, and when I'm comfortable, I go back, start the cycle by doing another past question paper, asking myself what each of the questions is testing, update my ranking, and then after that, I go strategically review my notes of a specific topic if I realize that okay, cool, I'm not performing well in that topic or that module. So let's say you doing past question papers and you encounter a difficult question. I always say it's way easier to remember the process than to remember the numbers. So mini summaries and mind maps are the way to go because it's way easier in the test or exam to remember the process in words than it is to remember the numbers that were in that past question paper. For example, let's say I get a difficult question that requires me to calculate the cost of equity and the cost of debt, right? And it's an entire long calculation. If I try to cram those numbers, it's pointless. But if I try to understand the process and write it out in words, even if I get to the test and exam and then I'm dealing with a different company now, they change the numbers. I have that thinking process that I follow in order to get to the answer when I'm calculating a cost of equity. Like for example, right, I always tell myself that okay, cool. Cost of equity when I'm using the capital asset pricing model, if it's a global company, then I need to use USD rates for the risk-free rate and the market risk premium. It's easier to remember that in test than to remember the numbers, random numbers that were in that question paper, past question paper that I did, right? And second point, I'm like always use levered beta to account for change in capital structure. And a merger or acquisition changes the capital structure of a company, that should always unlever and lever. So those become like triggers in my mind. So if I'm in that exam and then they say calculate cost of equity, and then I'm like, oh, there was a merger or acquisition, meaning that it changed the capital structure of the company. Therefore, I need to go and lever and unlever my beta, because when I'm doing this cost of equity calculation for my beta, I must always use the levered beta to account for the type of capital structure. So it's easier for me to remember the process than for me to remember the weights. And here there's one NP, cost of debt must always be after tax, right? It's easier to remember that than to always try to remember the numbers that are in a specific question paper that I did. So always make sure that you write your thinking process in words for those solutions that are in numbers. And for theory-based subjects or courses, you can always do your mini summaries and do your mini mind maps just as a thinking process, which you can easily recall in the test or the exam. So one thing that most students struggle with, right, is procrastination. And sometimes they even go on YouTube to search how to stop procrastinating without them realizing that them watching those videos is procrastinating, right? So here's a simple cure for procrastination. It needs a whole different video, but I'm going to try to give you three simple steps that you can follow in order to make sure that you cure procrastination, or to ensure that you don't procrastinate during exam season, to ensure that you highly productive, you skyrocket your effort level to nail those exams, right? So ask yourself the first question: what takes up most of my time? And for me, I've realized that most of the times your TikTok, your Instagram reels are what takes up most of my time, because after I wake up, I scroll for at least 30 minutes, an hour, without me realizing. They consume most of my time because I feel like I'm doing something, I'm busy when I'm scrolling, while I'm actually wasting my time, right? So I ask myself what takes up most of my time. And I kid you not, for most people, is social media, scrolling on TikTok. TikTok gets boring, you go to Instagram. Instagram gets boring, you go to Facebook. And then you stay in that loop for hours, wasting your energy and time. And what you don't realize is it consumes your energy levels, because your mind is running trying to process all this information, and by the time you sit down and you want to study, you're tired and you're like, let me take a nap and then I'll wake up and study again. And when you wake up, first thing you do, TikTok, 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 and then you're tired by the time you need to study. Therefore, you can't skyrocket your effort level. So ask yourself, what takes up most of my time? So if it's TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, eliminate those distractions. If you What takes up most of your time is sleeping. When you're studying in your room, you're like, let me take a nap, and then you end up sleeping the entire day. Go study in a different environment, go to the library, go to campus, go to a restaurant, go to whatever it is, so that you can eliminate those distractions. So for me, what I did specifically this year is I eliminated my distraction, which is social media. I deleted my TikTok app, my Instagram app. The only thing that I have now is YouTube, because there you have to go purposefully search for something that you need to watch. So always make sure that you eliminate the distractions. And what you realize is, once I deleted all my social media platforms, I became more mindful, because now when I wake up and see it, and I don't have TikTok to scroll. I don't have Instagram Reels to scroll. Therefore, I feel like I'm not doing anything. I feel like, oh, now I have so much time. So once you eliminate those distractions, you realize that you have so much time to do other activities which are key for you to nailing those exams. So number two, eliminate the distractions. Number three, make sure you plan each day in advance, right? You don't want to wake up in the morning, ask yourself, what do I need to do today, right? Even though you created a study timetable, make sure that the previous day before you sleep, you always ask yourself, what are the specific things that I'm going to do tomorrow, right? So I said I'm going to do financial reporting tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this lecture video from week 16. I'm going to do a tutorial from that week. And then after that, I'm just going to look at one question from a past question paper. And then I'm going to read the notes for text. Once you say specific things that you're going to do, by the time you wake up, you eliminated the amount of decisions that you need to make, because you wake up, go shower, you know that, okay, cool, the first thing I need to tackle is I need to go watch that lecture recording. But if you still have to think, scroll to different tabs, ask yourself, what should I do, what shouldn't I do, should I do a question paper instead, you're wasting a lot of time and decision making. So always make sure that you do a to-do list the day before and ask yourself, what are 5 things that I need to crash the next day? Even though you don't do all of them, you can do two, you can do three. As long as you did something, then you be productive. So here are the 3 things that you need to succeed in anything in life, right? If you can have these 3 components, then you can succeed in anything in life. First one is system. And what's nice is I've already plugged with the system, right? That color grading system to assess how confident you are in each course or subject, in each topic or module. That's a system, right? Setting up a study timetable for what you're going to do in specific days. That's a system that you're using. And also curing procrastination, doing a to-do list every day before you sleep. That's a system in place, right? So you have a system now. Second thing you need is accountability, right? If you don't have accountability, then it's easier to fail. What I've realized, exam season, I always come together with my friend and then we study together in one room, and by us being in the same room, that keeps me accountable, that keeps me going, right, to go the extra mile. But when I'm alone, I'm like, let me go chill in my room, let me watch this YouTube video, let me just sleep for a bit, I procrastinate. But once we're in the same room, we say, okay, cool, we're gonna meet every day at 10 p.m, not 10 p.m., 10 a.m., and start grinding work until 6 p.m., 7 p.m., then that accountability ensures that I keep going and then I 100 times my effort level. And the last thing which I always preach is belief, right? For you to become something or to get the results, the first thing you need to do is you need to believe. Your beliefs drive your thoughts, and then your thoughts drive your feelings, and then your feelings drive your actions. So for you to get those actions, to be the top performing learner, get those distinctions, you must first start by believing. And once you believe, your thoughts are going to be aligned with that belief, and then your feelings are going to be aligned with that belief as well. You're going to be motivated to study, you're going to be motivated to go write that exam because you believe that you're going to get that distinction, you believe that you're going to pass. And by having that belief, you're going to see the results, which is distinctions. And the one tip that I use is a goal card. So I always have a goal card, which is written on the one side, my goal. For example, pass all my courses with 70% plus, or pass all my courses with 80% plus. And at the back of the card, it's written, you become what you think it, right? Ask and it shall be given. And if I'm reading this card every time I'm studying, okay, cool, pass my courses with 80% plus, it reinforces that belief in me that, okay, cool, it's possible for me to pass my courses with 80% plus. I just need to keep going. And then once I believe that, it's going to drive my thoughts, and then my thoughts are going to drive my feelings, and my feelings are going to drive my actions. Once that belief is instilled in my mind, then I'll be able to crash my exams and become the top performing learner. If you've watched this video till the end, thank you for watching. Make sure that you click that like button so that we can reach more people and change more lives. Make sure that you subscribe to join the community, and then lastly, share with a friend that might need this video. Cheers.